The story of the Mustang family started in 1940. That's when the British Purchasing Commission approached North American Aviation to build Curtiss P-40 fighters under license. But North American Aviation came with a counter-proposal to develop a completely new aircraft for the RAF within 4 months. The plan wasn't without risks, but the Commission decided to take it, and won big time. The British had a habit of giving aircraft proper names. This one is now known as the Mustang. In the game, the so-called Mustang Mark 1A can be found among the British premium aircraft. Its defining feature is its laminar flow wing, giving the aircraft a significant boost in speed. That was the first time such a wing was used on a combat aircraft, by the way. It was also fitted with a very effective radiator design. Thanks to its unusual shape, heated air exited the radiator with a slight amount of jet thrust. Basically, the aircraft had only one big flaw. Its engine had a single-stage supercharger that caused power to drop off rapidly above 5,000 meters. But the UK didn't get their order in full. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American government decided to withdraw the equipment being produced for other nations. That's why several dozen Mustangs stayed on their native soil to defend their motherland. Those were called P-51. Later, the USAF ordered 500 more aircraft based on the P-51 design. The new model was called the A36 Apache and was meant to fill the role of an attacker. Ironically, due to the fact that the original Mustang flew too well and gained speed too fast in a dive, the aircraft had to be fitted with a dive brake. It was also given more firepower. Instead of 4 Hispano Mark II guns, the Apache carried 6 high-caliber Brownings. Obviously, it was also fitted with hard points that could be used to carry a few bombs. Then there was the P-51A, no longer an attacker, but a pure fighter aircraft. Engineers tried to make the design as light as possible to improve the aircraft's flight performance, which called for some tough decisions. For instance, the fighter was left with only 4 machine guns instead of 6. Once again. But boy, did it allow the plane to really spread its wings, figuratively speaking. When people speak about the Mustang, though, they are usually referring to the P-51 of the D line. There are 4 aircraft belonging to this series in War Thunder: the D-5, the D-10, the D-20, and the D-30. Even visually, this version of the Mustang was very different from its predecessors. First, it was fitted with a new teardrop canopy, giving the pilot excellent visibility. Second, the Razorback had to be cut, but the cut-down back for the new bubble canopy caused the P-51D to have directional problems. The solution was to add a fillet to the vertical stabilizer. Furthermore, new Mustangs were no longer fully painted. There was only some matte coating in the area between the propeller and the canopy to prevent sunlight from reflecting into the pilot's eyes. Under the hood, there were a lot of changes as well. For instance, the aircraft was now equipped with a licensed-built copy of the mighty Rolls-Royce Merlin 66, making the aircraft considerably deadlier. During the war, the company called Hamilton Standard, which was supplying propellers to the production lines, failed to meet the demand. The military were forced to turn to another supplier called Aero Products. Mustangs fitted with a new propeller were called the K variant. Keep in mind that in all other respects, those were still the P-51s that we all know and love. One of those aircraft can now be found in the Chinese tech tree. The last variation of the P-51 was the P-51H. All the improvements made to the design of the aircraft and its engine throughout the years made it one of the fastest planes of World War II. It performs so well, in fact, that it can deal with both its piston engine brethren and early jets, even though in real life it didn't have a chance to prove itself in a real fight. Finally, there is also the curious case of the F-82 twin Mustang. Its development started in as early as 1943, but the aircraft barely managed to get into the sky in time to take part in the Korean War. At the time, it was the only aircraft with big enough operational range to get to any place on the Korean peninsula when flying from Japanese airfields. It saw a lot of action both as an escort fighter and as an attacker. But then, by the end of 1951, the advent of jet-powered aviation finally put an end to the glorious age of piston-engine aircraft. Have you flown on any of those aircraft? What was it like? Please tell us in the comments below.